Casey and Michael, it is so great to have both of you on our show today, and we're going to dive into some really important topics when it comes to cybersecurity. So before we talk about why it's so important for each of you and ultimately the viewer at home, tell me a little bit about what you do.
So New Venture Escrow is an independent escrow company here in Southern California that mostly handles transactions in the real estate space. So we do residential and commercial closings for purchases of real estate property.
All right, dealing with people's money is very important. I understand you need to be very secure in your business. Tell me a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so I work for TechRug, the Technology Risk Underwriting Group, and we underwrite through Lloyd's of London for the cyber insurance policies. And we continue to really excel in what we do, not only for the i-NETTs that we work with, but also for Casey and his team. So we continue to do that and really separate ourselves and highlight the differences in a lot of policies that we see because it's an unregulated industry.
Okay, so the two of you have very different roles, yet you're both reliant on cybersecurity. So tell me a little bit about i-NETT and how you can really, rest your head at night knowing that your companies are secure.
So as an independent escrow company, we move money for a living. That's essentially what our job is to make sure the money is secure. And so when we have cyber attacks coming at us all the time, we need to have a partner like i-NETT who supports us in whatever technology is new and innovative. That's not necessarily our job. So we need to rely on a partner and an insurance provider that can actually do the back end work to make sure that our client's money is secure.
Now, I understand there's some gaps, and one of you, I can't remember who used the word unregulated. That's always a scary word when it comes to financials. So tell me a little bit about, problems you've identified and what the solutions are.
Yeah, so, it's not like your, homeowner's policy, your car insurance, even workers' comp, even in the business space is very heavily regulated. So there's governing bodies that control those things. For the cyberspace, it's not. So we really have to make sure that when we're working with i-NETT and their companies that they have partnered with and that they work with, like Casey's company, where we want to make sure that they have the right security in place, and we use their security stack to underwrite and get them a policy that we know is going to work with not only i-NETT's policy, but Casey's and New Venture's policy. So you're kind of getting the two birds with one stone. That hey, it's either going to be a problem on Casey's side, or it's going to be an i-NETT problem where something happens, there's an issue, there's an event that goes on. One of the two policies is going to pay out. So I'll never tell you you're 100% covered for everything in this space that we do, but at TechRug and what we do with our partners and our clients is we want to make sure that 99% of those things are covered. So when we're talking about the different, the unregulated space and that no two policies are treated the same, we had that problem when I first talked to Casey, that it was, they're moving money around all the time. There are a lot of escrow companies that are doing just that we want to make sure that in that partnership we properly protect them. So for them, it was a lot of the third-party funds. What happens to that money if they get hit with a cyber attack? Who's responsible? In the policy that they had at the time, there was an exclusion for it. So, an exclusion really being that, hey, we're not covering this if you guys lose that money. So when I pointed that out, that's when we were able to increase that coverage for them and properly protect them, but at the same time bring the overall cost of their insurance premium down. So that's what we want to try to do and make sure that people are aware in any industry that they're doing, any industry that they're in, that they're properly protected. And in Casey's example, we were able to do that before he had a claim.
Okay, what an amazing takeaway. We're out of time. I wish we could talk more, but real quick, if our viewers want to keep in touch with you or get more information, how can they either follow along on Instagram or go to your website? How can they get in touch?
Yeah, for us, it's newventureescrow.com, and we're on all the social media platforms, so they can find us easily.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we are techrug.com. You can submit online there for cyber insurance, cyber insurance. And then really our LinkedIn is probably the most efficient way. We post there all the time, trends and what's going on. So check us out on LinkedIn.
Okay, great. And everyone should find out more about i-NETT too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.